Lilith was well known in Mesopotamian and Judaic mythology. Alternatively, she is regarded as the first wife of Adam and the primordial she-demon. Stories tell us it was believed that she was banished from the Garden of Eden for not complying and obeying Adam. The name Lilith only appears once in the Hebrew Bible in a prophecy regarding the fate of Adam. The history of Lilith is a widely controversial Jewish folklore. Lilith's name is not included in the creation story of the Bible, but she appears in several midrashic texts. Her symbolism, history, and literature are debated among Jewish scholars, feminists, and other intellectuals. There are multiple origin stories for Lilith, but the most popular history told views Lilith as the first wife of Adam. Lilith, a female demonic figure in Jewish folklore. Her name and personality are thought to be derived from the class of Mesopotamian demons called Lilu, feminine, Lilitu, and the name is usually translated as night monster. In rabbinic literature, Lilith is variously depicted as the mother of Adam's demonic offspring following his separation from Eve, or as his first wife. Whereas Eve was created from Adam's rib in Genesis 2:22, and the rib, which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. God created Adam and Lilith in a manner that the female creature was contained in the male. Some accounts hold that Lilith was the woman implied in Genesis 1:26. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. It was said in the stories that Lilith was made from the same soil as Adam, depicting equality. Not like Eve, who came from the rib of Adam, depicting submission. Insolently refusing to be subservient to her husband, Lilith left Adam and the perfection of the Garden of Eden. 3 angels tried in vain to force her return. According to some mythologies, a demonic offspring was sired by an archangel named Samael, and were not Adam's progeny. Those children are sometimes identified as incubi and succubi. The main story began with that Lilith was created by God from the dust and was placed to live in the garden with Adam, and it was said that there was a conflict between Lilith and Adam in the garden when Adam tried to exert authority over her. One story tells us that Lilith refused to lay with Adam when he requested sex. What we get from Ben Sira is a desire to pull together different threads of all of the extant traditions surrounding Lilith, says Lieber, and also an explanation for a childbirth ritual to protect against sudden infant death that had already been in practice for centuries. It was said that both Adam and Lilith were made from the dust of the earth, and Lilith did not accept his authority over her. Adam disagreed with this, and Lilith in anger fled the Garden of Eden to gain her independence. When Adam told God that Lilith left, God sent 3 angels, Senoi, Sansamoi, and Samuel, to go look for her and retrieve her. It was said that the 3 angels found her in a cave bearing children, but Lilith refused to come back to the Garden of Eden because of the former incident. The angels took all her children because of her disobedience. In revenge, she is said to be a demon that robbed the children of life and is responsible for the deaths of stillborn infants and crib deaths. Jewish culture says that male children are at risk of Lilith's wrath for 8 days after their birth until circumcision, and girls are at risk for 20 days. After the angel's departure, Lilith tried to return to the garden, but upon her arrival, she found that Adam already had a love mate given to him by God, Eve. Then it was said Lilith crept unawares into the garden to sleep with Adam, and while he was sleeping, she stole his seed. With his seed, she gave birth to demons to replace her children killed by the angels. Lilith is also said to be responsible for males' erotic and evil dreams. The story affirms that it was Lilith that was assumed to be the serpent to trick Eve to eat the very forbidden fruit that God commanded them not to eat, but she tempted Eve to take and brought sin into the world and caused the couple to be forced out of paradise. This version is not present in the Bible, and it is rejected by both Catholics and Protestants. Lilith was said to create more demons through masturbation and erotic dreams. Lilith was a demoness that has her origin as a Sumerian succubus. Her origin was from the account from Genesis 1:26-27. Many believe she was created by God before Eve. Lilith is mentioned 4 times in the Babylonian Talmud. It was said after Lilith uttered God's name. It is believed she used the name of God, I Am, which is Yahweh, the self-existing God, but she said, I Am, which means she did not even submit herself to God, grew wings and flew into the air, leaving Adam alone in the Garden of Eden, because Adam wanted to be on top, while Lilith wanted to be in the dominant sexual position. 11th century writings by Isaac ben Jacob Halligan show Lilith leaving Adam for the archangel Samael, also known as the demon king. The Zohar, written in 12th century Spain, then went further, positing that Lilith was not only Adam's first wife, but also the wife of Satan. In the Kabbalah, Lilith becomes a reverse image of the Shekinah, and possibly competition for God's masculine side. Michelangelo, known sometimes to fail to do solid historic research, painted Lilith as a part woman, part snake, draped around the tree of knowledge. Lilith's story began as a killer of babies. Lilith is believed to be a demon now, who counters the sinister powers of winged spirits and preyed on pregnant women and infants. Lilith became known as a demon of lust and death. She was known to cause miscarriages and sudden infant death. But it was said that talismans with the names of the 3 angels responsible for tracking Lilith can protect people from her harm. In the Renaissance, Michelangelo portrayed Lilith as a half woman and half serpent. Lilith had female demos or wind spirits serving with her in her evil propaganda, Lilitu and the related ardent lily. The Lilith dwells in desert lands and open country spaces. The ardent lily is a sexually frustrated and infertile female who behaves aggressively towards young men. People through the Near East became increasingly familiar with the myth of Lilith. In the Bible, she is mentioned only once. In Isaiah 34, wild cats shall meet hyenas, goat demons shall greet each other. There the Lilith shall repose and find herself a resting place. The prophet kept encouraging God's people to avoid entanglements with foreigners who worship alien deities. The book of Isaiah lacks specifics in describing Lilith, but the Bible locates her in desolate places. The Bible verse thus links Lilith directly to the demon of the Gilgamesh epic who flew to the desert. The King James Bible prose rendition of the poem translates the Lilith as the screech owl, recalling the ominous bird-like qualities of the Babylonian she-demon. Legends also characterize her as a beautiful woman who seduces men or copulates with them in their sleep. A succubus, then spawns demon children. According to some accounts, Lilith is the queen of demons. The Zohar is clear that this being that preceded Eve was not a person, but rather a spirit, a harmful spirit that was impure. Many incantations against her mention her status as a daughter of heaven and exercising her free will over infants. This makes her different from the rest of the demons in Mesopotamia. Unlike her demonic peers, Lamashtu was not instructed by the gods to do her malevolence. She did it on her own accord. She was said to seduce men, harm pregnant women, mothers, and neonates, kill foliage, drink blood, and was a cause of disease, sickness, and death. The space between her legs is like a scorpion, corresponding to the astrological sign of Scorpio. Scorpio rules the genitals and sex organs. Her head is that of a lion. She has Anzu bird feet like Lilitu, and is lion-headed. Her breasts are suckled by a pig, and a dog rides the back of a donkey. She was seen in many phrases in different moons. Lilith is embraced by the feminist government now, and was the first feminist. The feminists regarded her as demonized like women in our history. Her story was used to explain high mortality rates in ancient times and teach societal norms about intercourse and the subsequent core of children. So even the evil demon version of Lilith has her good side. She was regarded as Satan's jealous concubine. Jewish households were using protective amulets to ward off other demonic baby stealers. Between the 5th to 8th centuries CE, the most popular form of anti-demonic protection was something called an incantation bowl. Lilith is considered the mother of evil and also the wife of Lucifer.